Hello and welcome to Warblog. Now looking at the Raqqah April 2017 scenario. Can't say that I've sort of balanced it up as much as I might want. It could be that you can't take Raqqah, there's too many ISIS units. But if you sort of look at the details, most of the ISIS units are quite small, and these Syrian Democratic Forces are at least a match, if not bigger. Now, one thing to sort of bear in mind is that they recently. So this is the river. I think it's the Tigris. I can't remember, but and there's that big reservoir, and there's the dam down here. They recently did a sort of waterborne operation across here to create this sort of bridgehead, which, when you look at it from this perspective, looks, you can sort of maybe see why they do that. I mean, I don't know why they didn't build some pontoon bridges across the river here as well. But what you will do, if you sort of look at the underlying map to some extent, is that you realise there's not actually anything here. It's not that there's just no towns. There's no towns at all. I mean, well, maybe there are a few of this and that, but I mean, based on the map, you can quite clearly see that this is all populated up here, and south of the river, all of a sudden, there's not a lot. So there's probably not a lot to take down here, but they've gone down here and taken these little places. But other than that, it's just really a sort of a general, not so much free-for-all, but there's not much more known. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all secret, considering it's all sort of happening right now. So essentially, I'm just actually going to play it because there isn't really much to sort of talk about. There's no air power because this is Syria, and so the US who would be supporting these people aren't really there. I don't think they're getting a lot of help from from the Syrian government. Maybe I should do a bit more reading. I think I'm going to have to come back and maybe double check this. But I've left it at this as it stands because I think it's tantalising in the sense that, well, what you've got over here is sort of like these regiments, and so I think you can't really just sort of pile in there. You've got to sort of pick your place and go for it. So the first thing that I sort of want to do what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put this unit on there. Now I'm deliberately doing it like this. DE. Now that was good. The reason I've done it like that is because he's got a lot of irregular units around here, and I don't want him just sort of jumping into me and doing a lot of damage, because they're just ones now. So there I'm worth 8. And all he can get against me there is 3, 4, 5, 6. He'd be struggling to get a 1-to-1. Maybe with a surround, but that's a sizable unit. And that's sort of the presence. That's the sort of thing I'm trying to sort of build up to here. And so, what I'm going to try and do here is I've put these over here so that I can sort of think about how I want to deploy them. I mean, there's definitely no way I'm going to get through this in 15 minutes, but it's the sort of thing that, I mean, all sort of games have their own sort of pros and cons in how they play and how entertaining they are, but I think this is the sort of game where you just got to spend most of your time thinking. Now, I mean, even just sort of toggling the map, it's quite clear that these hills might be useful to get. but this is all quite open terrain, so you should be able to push them back this way quite easily. So I mean, this corner here would be the obvious choice to start pushing. A, there's a space there, and B, I'd be able to get there, 3 units surrounding, and then to push into that. Maybe getting rid of these rockets might be nice. But what else have we got? Now we've already got this northern bridgehead, but what would be maybe quite nice is to push up along this river, so removing that hex there would be a good start as well. So he's got 1.2 movement left. Okay. Yep, this is definitely going to take a while. But again, I think it's the sort of thing that you can sort of savour. Relatively easily. No, I'm just trying to create a nice straight line there. But what I want to do is move into here, but not so much because I want to move into there. I want to find my artillery first. That's good. Okay. Now this should make it a walk in the park, because he's at half strength and he's at 3.6, so this is going to be a 7 to 1, I'm guessing. I mean, why should it be a 7 to 1? He's at 1.5, so 7 to 1 would be at least 14, 10, 14, that's what I've got, and the surround, yeah, it's going to be a 7 to 1. No, that's the wrong button, isn't it? I'm not on form at the moment. 7 to 1 DR. Okay, so that gives me that point there. He's all moved up. He's all moved up. But these people are now at 7 and 5.6. So what I'm going to try and do here is to follow that in. Three to 1 DR. Now it's tempting to move into that space, but I'm not going to. Now what's happened there, I've just sort of done this little advance. Now obviously I've only got about 6 minutes left of this little video, I'm not going to do any more, but if I was to be playing this sort of properly, I would be sort of quite inclined to leave it then, and then just everything else just manoeuvre around until I can sort of start to organise my units into, say, operational groups or something of the like. But that would have been a an operation, a decisive, not sort of decisive, but a determined plan of action. There would have been sort of the south easterly Juma advance, and it went well. Down here we've also done well, and I mean I feel like I quite say this quite a lot, but I think it's worth reiterating that it's always worth pausing on a game and then sort of think, well, what has just happened? Well, I mean, the Syrian Democratic Forces have made 2 offensive drives. This one down here, just south of Al Musharraf, they actually did, eliminated 1 or 2 units. I think there's 1 unit down there. Here they forced, the ISIS units back, but we haven't moved in too far. So again, it's sort of a Okay, well, what does that all mean? You know, how can we apply that? But we've also got this, you know, what we could almost describe as an operation in its own account, but we're moving whatever this little unit is into a position here to try and take out this section here. And until we've actually done that, it would sort of be, well, you know, maybe not wise to do other offensives at the same time. So I'm going to keep that line along there for that reason. Although, to be quite honest, I quite fancy that one. And there's no way they can cross here, so there's some mechanised units there. We've got some insurgents. So I'm going to bring my tanks to the top of this hill because I want to take out these rockets. I'm going to prep them up with some artillery. So it's exactly the same situation as we had before, really. But we didn't have any effect on that one this time. No effect again. Well, we've got 1.8 against him. 1.84. So let's pile in with these units. 7-1 DR with the worst dice roll on the planet. Okay. Don't want to advance there. That was a bit impetuous. But we're building up a line along here. And what we'll do, I know he's not got any movement left, but this guy should have some movement, so let's at least take advantage of that. Now this is going to be, this unit here is going to be the driving force. You know, there's a division in there. The rest of it's there. There's this unit here as well. Now, do I want him to? I think I want to. Which movement has he got? That's interesting. I've moved him there. Which means I could almost do that push there. So he's going to be worth 3, and I'll be worth 12, so that's 4-1 with a little bit of a surround, plus some armour against infantry. I'm just going to do it. 5 or 6-1? 7-1 DR. Okay, and he moved to there. Yep, there he is, depression 2. Well, that's only 30 seconds left, so I'm not going to do any more of that. It'll be ISIS' turn next, and ISIS would be readjusting, you know, trying to sort of basically maximise the defensive line. But I think the point here is to do small, little, decisive, determined, thought out in advance plans of action to take out, say, particular hexes one at a time, minimising losses, as opposed to just going hell for leather as a gaming geek. Okay, I'll Hope you enjoyed that. I'll speak to you later. Bye.